You are tuned into a special Player Spotlight interview on the CS Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the CS Podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first. Since 2002, visit NFLDraftBible.com. I'm your guys' host, Chris Shanafelt, and joining the show now is 2016 NFL Draft prospect. We're going to go out to Southern Utah University, the pride and joy of the Thunderbirds, which is probably the best mascot of all of college football. He is the quarterback, Ammon Olsen. And Ammon, we appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. I know about this time a week ago you were getting ready to play in the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl. Talk about that week if you can. I mean, what was it like to learn from some NFL coaches? I know that you were teamed up with Mike Martz and former NFL quarterback John Kitna. Do you think that experience was like a sneak preview of what you'll see and go through in the pros?
You know, it was an amazing week. All the stuff that we learned, every single coach on the coaching staff had, 10-plus years experience in the NFL as a player and 10-plus years coaching in the NFL as well. So hearing the stuff that these guys have to say, the stuff they know, it was kind of fun to learn, a little bit of a new offense, new terminology, getting used to breaking a huddle and under center snaps. I mean, last week at the NFLPA Bowl was a blast, and I really think it was good for me to see, how some of these coaches work and, how the NFL in general works. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, coming from Southern Utah University, you're going up against guys from, some of the top programs in the country. I mean, USC, you had guys from Washington. Again, some of the top programs in the country. What were some things that you had in mind that you wanted to achieve and show in front of NFL scouts that were at practices, at the game itself? And do you feel that you were successful in showing what you intended to show?
That's exactly it. SU, we're a smaller school. And it's always been said that small schools may not have the talent as a big school. So I think it was a really big week for me to go there with Travis Wilson, Trevon Boykin, Matt Johnson, big quarterback names that have had very successful college careers and compete and show that I can compete at that level. And I think that throughout the practices and especially in the game, I was able to show that I can compete at that level. I mean, there's amazing athletes and they all played well, but I think it was good for me to show that I can compete with that type of level of competition. And not only that, it was good for me because all my college career was in the shotgun, and a lot of colleges are in the shotgun now, but it was good for me to be able to get used to and show that I can handle under center snaps and the footwork and all that stuff. I felt like I got better throughout the week, and the coach's feedback was that as well, that throughout the week that I got better and it was more comfortable. So it was a great week for me, especially because SU's kind of a smaller school, doesn't get a lot of attention like these big schools. But to compete with that amount of guys that are from big schools was a great experience, and it was good for me throughout the week.
And I thought that both you and Matt Johnson from Bowling Green, I thought that you guys were the two top quarterbacks in this game. Throughout the week, I was able to catch a couple of the practices online on ESPNU, and then, of course, the game itself on ESPN2. Again, I thought that you two were the two top quarterbacks in this game. We hear so much about how important chemistry is between quarterbacks and their receivers. Do you feel that you developed a nice chemistry with the national team's receivers for only working together for about a week or so?
Yeah, that is kind of hard because you usually want to work a whole entire off season with your receivers and build chemistry. But I think the coaches did a great job making it a little bit simple for us all. They kind of dumbed down all the routes, all the offense in general, so that there wouldn't be that much of a problem with the chemistry. Because in the game it went really well. There wasn't a lot of balls flying everywhere. There wasn't a lot of lack of communication, which was pretty impressive for only having 3 days with those guys, with the receivers and running backs and tight ends. But it was really good. The chemistry was there. We got to throw quite a bit of routes on air, one-on-ones, and 7-on-7 every single day. So I think it was just enough to get good chemistry. And in the game it showed. I felt like we completed a good amount of balls downfield, and we showed that we could get used to each other. So that was really good for us.
Yeah, and I believe you're the game's leading quarterback, a top quarterback with over 50% completion percentage and over 70 yards. Now, I do know that most, if not all, NFL teams were in attendance at one point or another. Again, the NFLPA Bowl, I mean, it's, again, one of the top all-star games in the country. Now, most of the scouts I know stay for a couple of practices and then come game day, many of the scouts leave. By any chance, were you able to meet with any of the scouts, before, after practices, before, after the games? And if so, what was some of the feedback that you received from them?
Yeah, mostly like you said, the practices and after the practices were really the time the scouts were looking at us and critiquing us. I don't know how many were there for the game or watched the game. I didn't talk to any after the game, but a lot of the feedback they were giving me was just, kind of getting to know me as a player. Some of them had visited SUU for a few of the players down there and kind of knew a little bit about me, but a lot of it was just getting to know me, feeling my strengths and weaknesses as a quarterback and seeing, telling me what they think I need to work on and what they noticed was good in practice. So it was really cool to hear their feedback, to hear their critiques and their praises for certain parts of my game. But, it was a cool experience. They had some good things to say and some things that I can definitely learn from and take and improve on. And, after the game, the feedback I've heard is just to stay consistent. They like what they saw, and they just need to see me in a pro day and see if I can and do that consistently. So, but overall, it was really good.
Again, we have Ammon Olsen, the quarterback out of Southern Utah University, here on the phone lines. He's coming off of a big week down in Los Angeles as he participated in the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl. And, Ammon, switching gears here really quickly, talk about the whole process of signing with an agent. I see that you did sign with Aaron Gordon and Uso Sports. What was the whole process like, signing with an agent? What was it about Uso Sports Agency that separated them from the other agencies that were trying to reach out to you?
Yeah, Uso Sports and Aaron Gordon, he was really the main guy in the beginning that showed interest, that presented himself. I like what he stands for, what he represents. He was the one that really believed in me, and I feel like, as a player that's trying to play at the next level, an agent that believes in your skill set, believes in your talent, is something that can go a long way instead of just someone who, may sign you for other reasons. So Aaron really showed interest. He really I felt like he believed in me as a player, my talents, and we also had some connections that were similar, people that I could work with, people that I could learn from that knew him, and so I just liked what he stood for and the connections that we had, and it's been amazing so far. I don't think I ever knew really what having an agent was until I had one, and all the support and all the help. They really do a lot for you as a player trying to go to the next level. So Aaron's been great. He's helping me out tremendously, and I'm just trying to follow him and do what he tells me to do, and it's working out so far.
Absolutely, and of course, a very well-respected agent. And again, Uso Sports, they have many clients that certainly look like, of course, in this year's class, that certainly look like they'll be getting an opportunity at the next level, including yourself. And Ammon, looking at your journey, it's been quite interesting. You began your college career at Southern Utah, and then you spent a couple of years over at BYU before making the return to the Thunderbirds in 2014. I'm just curious now, why did you end up transferring back to SUU, and how did the team welcome you back? Were there any problems, or was it all gravy?
No, I know exactly what you're saying. So what happened was I went on an LDS mission, and on my LDS mission I was offered a full-ride scholarship, decided to transfer to BYU. I really enjoyed it at BYU. I just wasn't in the best situation. I was the backup behind Taysom Hill, who is a very well-known quarterback, and he actually stayed healthy that full year that I was his backup. And so I just didn't like the situation I was in as far as me having to hope that he got injured in order to play. I didn't like that situation. I wasn't going to play unless he got injured. And so the funny thing is some of the players from SUU were the ones that originally contacted me, some of my friends that I was recruited with and was down there my freshman year, they actually talked to me and were the main reason that talked me back into going down there. They said they needed a quarterback, and they kind of recruited me back down there. So I was a little worried that they'd be kind of upset that I left and went back, but it was actually them that kind of really talked me back into going down there, and they welcomed me like I had never left. And I told them that, I kind of looked at it as a way that I only went up to BYU to meet my wife and then to finish my career back down there with them. So it went really well. It was smooth. The guys really accepted me. We're glad that I was back with them, and I wouldn't change a thing about the journey. It's kind of a crazy story how it all turned out, but in the end, after all, it was a great experience for me overall.
And you know what? Yeah, I mean, obviously looking back, I mean, it certainly looks like things worked out well for you. That's great that, it was really some of your teammates that were trying to, have you come back to SUU. And really ever since you have returned to Southern Utah, Ammon, I mean, you have been the team's starting quarterback. You have been, seeing that play time that you've really wanted to see. And you've been playing at a very high level. Personally, I think that you're a better prospect coming out than Brad Sorensen was when he came out in 2013. No disrespect to Sorensen at all. Just saying, looking at the last two seasons, I mean, since you made your return to SUU, I see that you threw for just under 6,400 yards, 47 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, a pretty nice ratio right there. How would you describe your overall college football experience, though? Again, at Southern Utah, going to BYU for a couple of years, and now here we are wrapping it all up back at Southern Utah.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for that anyways, but you know what really I loved about SUU was Gary Croton, one of the coaches down there. He really helped me understand the game of football at the quarterback position. When I went down to SUU after being at BYU, he had always said to me, "You think you're really good, but you have a lot to improve." And I am really happy that all the stuff he taught me with my eyes, my feet, the reading defenses. Gary Croton, I have to give a lot of credit to him. He really helped me understand the game. And once I understood it and saw what he was seeing, we were able to, have more success on offense, and everything started to flow a little bit better. So looking back at the 2 years I had at SUU, I think it went really well. We had a lot of incredible athletes down there, and we were able to make some noise and win a conference championship. And I think that is something that is really important for SUU to get on the map, and we were able to do that. So those 2 years down at SUU were really successful, I think, for all of us as a team. 3 of the defensive guys from last year actually got invited to the Combine this year, which is huge. I don't think that's ever happened. So good for them, and winning actually really helps you as a player to be noticed. So those 2 years were extremely successful, and I'm happy how they went.
Absolutely. And you know what, Ammon? I mean, while you were down in L.A. For the NFLPA Bowl, I was actually down in St. Pete, Florida, covering the Shrine game, and you actually just mentioned it. 3 of the defensive players from SUU will be in they were invited to the NFL Combine, and they are James Krauser and LaShawn Sims. Miles Killebrew, who's going to be playing in today's Senior Bowl. What was it like to go up against these guys in practice every day, and does it make the draft process any easier going through it with these fellow Thunderbirds?
Yeah, watching them, I wasn't able to watch the East-West Shrine, but I watched the highlights, heard how good James and LaShawn did in that game, and it's just fun to watch, these players have success. I'm sure Miles will have an incredible day today. He's a freak as it is. He's just a specimen you don't see every day. But watching them and just hearing about everyone's success, it's really fun to go through this process with them. James Krauser is one of those players that I was with in 2009 back in freshman year down at SUU. So we've known each other for a long time. He's a freak athlete. They all are. So it's fun to hear their successes, and I'm excited to see how well they do at the Combine. They'll represent SUU really well. I'm not going to be surprised about that. So congrats to those guys, and I hope they keep having a lot of success.
And of course, Cowser, if I'm not mistaken, he's the all-time leader in sacks in the history of the FCS. So that right there says it all. So obviously, a lot of talent is leaving the Southern Utah football team, including head coach Ed Lamb, who took the assistant head coaching job over at BYU. Defensive coordinator Demario Warren was recently named the team's new head coach. How do you feel about the future of the program under Warren, and who are some guys that we should be on the lookout for next season?
Man, there's a lot of guys because the whole offense is returning. Just two receivers, one tight end, and me are the only offensive guys that are really leaving. So they should have an incredible year next year. The defense, a lot of them are returning other than the three guys we just talked about. So they have a lot of talent. Coach Demario Warren, man, he has the respect to the players, and he really knows the game really well. And he also has Coach Justin Walterscheid, who I was able to work with halfway through the season last year after Coach Troughton left. So those two really have the respect to the players. They're really great coaches, and they're going to take off with the program. I'm not going to be surprised to hear how well they do with that coaching staff at the helm. So I'm excited for them next year.
He's Ammon Olsen, the quarterback out of Southern Utah University, joining me here on the CS podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. And Ammon, diving into your game a little bit more, what would you say is your biggest strength as a quarterback? I mean, when we turn on your tape, what do you think will be a few things that will stand out positively? And what do you feel is something that you need to get better at in order to have success at the pro level?
Yeah, one of the main things that I feel like I have that go my way is my arm strength, accuracy, and my size. I'm decent. I'm not huge, but I'm not small. I'm decent size. But I think the main thing that I don't know if it'll show up on film, but one thing that I credit myself is just staying poised throughout the games. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. You watch the NFL quarterbacks, and they're always just being themselves and enjoying the game. And I think that's something that I do well, is just let the game come to me and enjoy it as it goes. But, the thing that I need to work on is, there's a couple things. There's a lot of things, but I think I need to get my speed up, my 40 time. I'm not super slow, but I'm not fast as well. So working on that will be good for me. And all this under center stuff, like I talked about at the NFLPA Bowl, getting better at it, getting more comfortable, working on the footwork and all the stuff that goes. It's a whole different game under the center. So plenty of experience in the shotgun, but in the NFL you got to be able to handle it down there, handle under center stuff, handle the offense in a huddle. So things that I have been working on, I'll continue to work on, and hopefully I can keep making progress in those aspects of my game.
All right, sounds great. Now I did. Now, I'm a big fan of, small school FCS football, Ammon, and I got to ask, is the small school label something that you'll embrace coming from a D1 AA program? I mean, of course, I did mention Brad Sorensen a little earlier, but not every day do we see pro quarterbacks come out of Southern Utah.
Yeah, I mean, I love SUU, everything they offered me. That university is the reason where I am now today. So I'll embrace it. I'm excited for SUU. Only good things are going to come. Especially with the amount of light they're getting on them with the three defensive players in the combine. So when I was at the NFLPA Bowl, when I would say I was from Southern Utah, not many players really knew what that was. So hopefully sooner or later SUU will be on the map and a lot of people will know what it is. But, yeah, I love SUU. I claim SUU, and I'm excited to see what they have in the future.
Well, I'm sure you had many players and scouts complimenting that Southern Utah helmet that you're sporting down in Los Angeles last week. And now that the NFLPA Bowl is behind you, though, what is next for you in this process? I mean, are we just training for, hoping for a combine invite and of course, training for the pro day from here on out until those days come?
Yep, exactly that. Hoping for anything I can get, combine invite, anything like that would be crucial. But right now just planning on training for the pro day, getting better, getting to where I can look really good in front of the scouts one more time, look consistent. And just working with my coach, actually Dustin Smith with Quarterback Elite, who works out here in Salt Lake City. they're really helping me out with all my under center stuff, and I'm hoping to look good on pro day. Look the best I've ever looked, and that's pretty much what we're working on right now.
Awesome. And do we have any idea which pro day or pro days that you'll be participating in?
So I'm not exactly sure. Aaron Gordon's kind of been the one letting me know here and there. SUU obviously is trying to put one on because of the guys that got invited to the combine. There'll be a lot of scouts down there. But with the weather in Cedar City in March, you never know what you're going to get. So, and now that Ed Lamb is at BYU, I've talked to him about going to BYU's as well because they don't have a quarterback to throw that's leading into the draft. So hopefully both of those. I don't know how it works. If I could do both, that would be awesome. But as of now, I'm just kind of playing it by ear. Aaron kind of working out the logistics of it. But if I could do both, that would be really beneficial for me. So
yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. And, Ammon, I really do appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. We're actually going to finish this interview with something I like to call the 2-minute drill. Some of these questions will be football-related, and some will be random questions about just about anything. You ready to knock some of these out?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, we'll start off with favorite TV show and movie.
Favorite TV show? Ooh, that one is hard. Oh, The Blacklist. Definitely The Blacklist. Favorite TV show. Favorite movie? Right now, Count of Monte Cristo. I just watched it again, and I love that movie.
All right. Sounds good. Who would you say you model your game after?
Who would I model my game after? Brett Favre. I love Brett Favre. I remember watching him. That may not be a good thing because he played how he played, and it wasn't the prettiest thing, but he was the best competitor. I loved watching him. He always competed at high level, and I love and I think Aaron Rodgers plays a little bit like Brett Favre. So I like those two quarterbacks.
Oh man, you're complimenting the wrong guys on a show out of Chicago, man.
Oh, sorry about that.
But nonetheless, two of the top quarterbacks. Probably Aaron Rodgers, it looks like he'll be going down as one of the top quarterbacks of all time. Brett Favre, he'll be a Hall of Famer soon. So, again, can't go wrong with that. Let's say you had a round-trip plane ticket to travel anywhere you wanted. Where would you be going?
I would go to Mexico City. That's where I served my LDS mission. I haven't been able to go back yet just because of time and money. So if I could go somewhere, I'd go down to Mexico City and maybe go visit the people down there one more time. All right.
You cannot go wrong with that, especially around this time of the year. Now, let's say you could throw a touchdown to any wide receiver that is either currently playing in the NFL or has played in the NFL. Who would that be?
Man, that is a hard choice. Right now, I think the Flames on Odell Beckham Jr. I think he's the one to be throwing to in today's NFL.
I don't even know if you're going to have to throw it to him. I think you just throw it anywhere somehow, some way.
Anywhere around. I agree.
All right. Now that we know the two teams that will be playing in Super Bowl 50, I got to get a prediction. Broncos or Panthers?
My prediction is the Panthers, but I would be happy with either. I really think Peyton's an incredible quarterback, and I want him to win one more. He deserves it, but I'd be happy with both. But if I had a bet on it, I would say the Panthers are going to win.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And so far, since we've known the Super Bowl matchup, it's been Panthers over the Broncos 4-0. Nobody has yet to pick the Broncos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Panthers heavily favored so far. And final question for you: let's say we got all 32 NFL general managers lined up listening to this very interview. Why should they want the quarterback out of Southern Utah University, Ammon Olsen, a part of their team?
I'm a guy that's not going to be in trouble. I'm just a calm guy. I'm married. Looking more at the business side of the NFL. I'm not there to have fun. I'm there to, compete at a high level, but do what they ask me to do and treat it like a business. So I'm a guy they won't have to worry about. I'm a guy that's just going to be in the right places at the right time. I'm not going to do anything to damage their franchise and just do what I can to help them win games. So that's probably the best thing I have to offer.
And like you said, I mean, you're going into this knowing that it's a job now. I think a lot more people need to have that same mindset. But Ammon, like I said, that was my final question for you. I really do appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. And again, we're wishing you all the best as you get set for the 2016 NFL Draft, man.
Hey, thank you so much, Chris, for having me on.